Ron's speech is titled Enhance Your Toastmasters Experience. Ron is a distinguished Toastmaster who has been a Toastmaster for 13 years, been a member of multiple clubs, served in various club and district leadership roles. Please help me welcome Ron giving his speech, Enhance Your Toastmasters Experience.
I'm a high school teacher. The first club we belonged to was Odette School of Business Toastmasters, University Club. So I would often run into old students of mine and I'd ask them about Toastmasters. And there are two common reasons why they absolutely could not benefit from Toastmasters. One, too terrible. Couldn't possibly get any benefit out of Toastmaster. Can't speak at all. The second, they're just too darn good. There's nothing we can teach them. And the truth, of course, is both nonsense. The truth is, public speaking is not a singular skill. It's not like you're either terrible or you're awesome at it. There's a bunch of different skills, and you focus on those individual skills, you get better at it. Now, I'm not suggesting, by the way, that Toastmasters is for everyone. The truth is, it's a trade-off. You trade time and effort, and you get better results in public speaking. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Show of hands. How many, like this trade-off, are willing to spend time and effort, and they want to learn from me how to get some better results? Excellent. We're at the right place today. The famous boxer Muhammad Ali was once asked, how many push-ups can you do? He said, 8 or 9. The journalist looked at him like, what? He says, yeah. I don't start counting until I've done enough where I don't think I can do any more. This is the correct mindset for Toastmasters. That's where you grow. In that moment where you've pushed yourself. So this is the correct mindset to frame this entire speech. You need to find those places where you are pushing yourself. Because I don't know exactly what's going to push you. I don't know where your comfort zone is. For some people, simply getting up in front of a group and speaking for 2 to 3 minutes is pushing their comfort zone and preparing them for their next level of speaking. Other people, if you're comfortable with that and you keep doing that, you're not growing. So you need to find ways to push yourself. There are two fundamental areas of growth in Toastmasters, speaking and leadership. I want to talk about the tips that I've learned over the years, how to become an effective public speaker. First is to recognize there's a basic model of read professional material, practice, get evaluations. Now it's simple and we all should know this, except for I've met many Toastmasters over the years who give speeches and they've never read the project. Okay? Toastmasters International has this thing called Pathways, and they have projects. And you think, yeah, but I really want to talk about speech X. You can get away with that now and again, but the problem is I've seen these speakers, they give 4, 5, 6 speeches, and they're not growing. They're just giving the same old stuff they've already given. Read professional material. Second part. Don't just come to a meeting and speak off the cuff and think you're going to get better. You have to actually prepare your speech. The third part of that, when you have an evaluator, listen to what they say. Write down the notes. When you're giving your next speech, reflect on those areas of growth. Now, personally, I video every speech. I video every speech for the members of our club too, because I think that's part of your review process. Now, if you're not doing that, I would encourage you to start this process. And you might say, I just gave the speech, I don't want to see it. 6 months from now, you might want to see it. You may want to reflect on that and see, how am I doing? I've been working on my staging. Am I still wandering around randomly? Or is it more effective? Is it more purposeful? Okay? That's the process. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people cut corners. Because we're all busy, of course. We're all busy. And so, if you get it in your mind that you have to spend 8 to 10 hours to develop a good speech, you're not going to do that. You might do it once, twice a year, but that's it. Like, you can't find that time in your schedule. I suggest 1 hour. 1 hour to make the speech. So read it over, that should take you 10, 15 minutes. 1 hour to make it, and then I practice in various ways at various times, usually like driving the car. Okay. The key 1 hour. Paper, pen. That's it. And you say, well, gee, I need to think about what I'm talking about. What's my topic? I brainstorm. That's all I do. When I'm stuck for a topic, I don't have it already. It didn't just come to me from the sky. And they do sometimes, that happens. But don't rely on that. It's not that reliable. Like, maybe you are good at getting like in the yoga position and the ideas come to you, but they don't come to me. I force them. And all I do is I write down quickly. Brainstorm is quick. Brainstorm's not, I need the perfect idea. You just write. Get 10, 20 ideas down. Quickly. Quick's important here. A, because you don't have a million minutes to spend. B, we have this filter in our brain. It's mostly a good filter. Like someone says something and you have this joke that comes to your mind, you're like, oh no, don't say that, it's offensive. That's a good filter, it's good. Problem though, when you're trying to get a speech idea, you think, oh, I know what I'll talk about. Oh no, it's not good enough. Oh no, that's not good enough. No, you don't care if it's good. Right. Once you have 10, 15 ideas, you then go back through and rate them. I use a simple system, 0, 1, 2. 0, it's of no further use. Maybe it helped, maybe it didn't. We don't know how the brain works exactly. 1, there's something about the idea I like, something I don't. Maybe it's too vague, maybe it's too complex, maybe it's too long, whatever. 2, I feel like I can make a speech out of this. So I go through and I have 3, 4 2s. Take one of those and say, okay, let's try and make a speech out of this. I'm not starting from the first word I say. I'm starting with a structure. Just, what's my message? After I give my speech and I talk to you tomorrow, what's the one sentence or one message, one idea that you left with? If I can't boil it down to that, it's not a good speech. If I have to spend 5 minutes to explain the speech to you, well, it's really subtle and it's all, I don't want subtle. 90% of my speeches, I want to hit you over the head with the idea. Here it is. I want you to leave with it. I'm speaking to be clear, to communicate an idea. Okay, so get that message. And then I get 3 supporting points. Much like an essay you do in high school. Now, I will try to push for 5 and only take the best 3. But sometimes I get lazy too, and I only write down 3. Once I have that, I think, hey, that looks pretty good. I can flesh that out. Then I start thinking about introduction and conclusion. I've heard people start giving a speech. They start their introduction. This is what I'm going to talk about. And then they talk about something else. And when I evaluate them, I say, well, you said you're going to talk about X, but you really talked about Y. And they said, yeah, I should have talked about X. No. The body of your speech was probably really good. You should have changed your introduction. Updated it once you had the body. Once you knew where you were going. Because we start with these ideas with our speeches, but sometimes something tickles you and you go somewhere else with it. That's great. Keep that gold. But in your introduction, make sure you're setting it up correctly. The purpose of the introduction is to warm the audience up to the speech, so when you hit them with it, it sticks. Then the conclusion, same idea. I want you to go home with the idea. The conclusion should do that for you. Once I have that structure, I'm ready to practice it. Some people aren't ready for that. Some people need to write down word for word what they're going to say in their speech. I know that. But for me personally, that structure's enough. I can get in my car, go to work, and I can go over my speech in my head. If you can't do that, that's fine. Take that structure and start filling it out. If you try and make a structure and you can't, put it aside and go to one of your other twos. Okay, so that's my basic structure, and that's going to get you through 90% of your speeches. I encourage you to try it. Most important advice, you have to do what works for you. I recall early on in our Toastmasters experience, I had similar advice given to us by a Toastmaster who said, don't write any of your speeches, just get an idea and start speaking. Well, I tried that. My next 3 speeches were terrible. I needed to write more of it down, okay? So you have to find the process that works for you. It's great that it works for me. You have to find what works for you. Get your idea, get it planned. In your actual meetings, you should be pushing for a pace of about a speech a month. Now, I don't know for sure what's going to cause you to grow, but I've seen lots and lots of Toastmasters who don't give enough speeches, who give 1 or 2 speeches a year. It's not enough to grow. It's like going to the gym once a week. You're not going to grow. It's going to be frustrating. For the time and effort, most of us are already putting the time in. That little bit of effort, though, is required to maximize that time. You have to push yourself. Now, this is some contentious advice. I suggest signing up for a speech before you're ready to give it. A lot of people say, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be embarrassed. I said I was going to speak on the next meeting, ours is Saturday morning. I said I was going to speak on Saturday morning, and then Saturday morning came and I wasn't ready, and I had to tell the Vice President of Education, sorry buddy, I can't do it. Do it anyways. What I mean by do it anyways, sign up anyways. You're going to occasionally have to do that. You're going to occasionally have to say, look, life happened. That's okay. But it stings, and it's going to help you to not drop speeches in the future. But what happens instead, you say, I'm going to wait till I'm ready. Only when I'm ready will I give a speech. 6 months passes. Because you're never quite ready enough. We're never quite organized enough. There's a great quote by Leonard Bernstein. 2 things are required for greatness. A plan and not quite enough time. You have to put yourself under the pressure cooker to get it. Those are my fundamental tips for speaking. For leadership, a lot of people come to Toastmasters and think, all I care about is speaking. Okay, but I think you're missing a valuable leadership opportunity if you're doing that. You're leaving gold on the table, basically. You have an opportunity to learn to be a better, more effective leader through Toastmasters. The experiences are right in front of you. The first way you're going to get this is filling meeting roles on a regular basis. I've become a better leader in front of a group just by the Toastmaster role. Whenever there's an event going on, and people ask me to MC it, it's the Toastmaster role that does it for me. I'm like, yeah, I can run this. Shaking hands, introducing people, calmly being pleasant at the front. It takes practice. You get good at it though. Once you've done that a number of times, club executive role. That's your next level of leadership. It's an opportunity. Some people think, oh, what a pain. Someone's got to do this stuff to help the meeting go. Yeah, that's true. But there are also golden opportunities for you to learn leadership in a very cheap way. Just a little bit of work. The next thing you should be doing, organize events. Special event like today, it's a wonderful leadership opportunity. Get your agenda together, make sure you're calling people, all these things. Wonderful leadership opportunities. Because what happens in these things, people disappoint you. It's how you carefully, thoughtfully deal with these problems that come up. It's a leadership goal. There's a next level too. There's district leadership. a number of people in the room have tried district leadership. Very valuable. You could be an area director, you go to different clubs and you visit them and help guide them and give advice and help them grow. There's lots of leadership opportunities as well. Start small though, club roles. I need everyone to stand up. I want you to reach as high as you can. Everyone reach up as high as you can. Now reach a little higher. That's the model for leadership. We all know when we tell ourselves we're doing our best, that we got a little more in us. Mr. Toastmaster, or
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster.
Mr. Toastmaster.